1 minute mark, 4 minute mark. If we could turn off our cell phones while we think of it. Mine was. We're going to call this meeting to order. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is the traditional and unceded territory of the Algonquin Nation. Please stand for the national anthem. These are beautiful big chairs.
Where's your cushion?
There we go. All right. Our first motion is moved by Cindy Kelsey, seconded by Lynn Clegus, that the agenda for the regular meeting of council to be held May the 12th, 2026 be approved as, are there amendments, Kathy?
Yes, there is an addition of a closed session item, a litigation or potential litigation.
So approved as amended. All those in favor? Carried. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest by any member of council on any item on tonight's agenda? Seeing none, we'll note that in the minutes. Moved by Bill Everett, seconded by Bill McDonald, that the minutes from the regular meeting of council held on April 28th, 2026 be approved as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Mayor's remarks, just a few remarks. The weekend saw some interesting things happening. We had Touch the Truck in Hintonbrook, lots of folks out, lots of kids out, really enjoyed it. I saw that on Facebook. We also had a group in our community hall for 2 days with the history of the village of Sharbot Lake. And if you got to see it, it was amazing. The amount of research that they did was very well attended, and it's going to be put on again in August for the summer folks. So I think they'll enjoy it as well. And there are books as well, if anybody's interested. So a couple of successful events. Maybe there was others. I don't know. Does anybody have anything to add? Susan?
The unveiling of the mural on the North
Yes.
Frontenac telephone building.
Yes. The
Wonderful.
The anniversary was 150 years since the first train came through this village. And there is a mural that is on the south side, I guess, southeast, the telephone office right on Elizabeth Street. You can see it better when you're coming back out to 38 than going in. And don't be looking back like I was and almost run off the road. I don't do that well. Anyway, it's a beautiful mural. Well done. Nikki.
Just this weekend, the Parham Firefighters Association is having their annual fish fry on Sunday afternoon from 3 to 7 at the fire hall on Wagerville Road.
And if you haven't been, that fish is just excellent. Lynn.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I also wanted to announce and remind people that on Thursday of this week, we're doing a grand mural art unveiling. It's a collaborative effort between the Kennebec Rec Committee and Granite Ridge Educational Center. And it's 3 murals that the local high school students have created will be installed in the Kennebec Park, which is located at 1034 Queen Street in Arden. And it's this coming Thursday at noon, and everyone's welcome to come and attend and cheer on these students that have done this great work. The second thing is the Kennebec Rec Committee and the Central Frontenac Fire and Rescue Stations 1 and 2 jointly have done a fireworks display on Victoria Day weekend for many, many years. And we're hosting it this year on May 16th, which is this coming Saturday at 9 p.m. And again, it's in the Kennebec Park at 1034 Queen Street, Arden. Please come out.
Okay, all right. Is there anything else? All right, if not, we're going to start with our delegations. And our first delegation is Richard Allen, Manager of Economic Development, and Emma Stockford, Community Development Officer for the County of Frontenac. Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and through you to Council, we appreciate the opportunity to talk to all of you about our economic development efforts in 2025. Unfortunately, Emma wasn't with us in 2025. She joined us in March and has been a welcome addition to our team. She's already been to an economic development committee meeting at Central Frontenac, and so we're excited to be able to be more out in the community and connected with the additional capacity. Debbie Miller, our other community development officer, sends her regrets. She has a personal matter she's attending to and was not able to join us today. So you'll just get the two of us, and mostly me because Emma doesn't remember any of this stuff. So I'm just going to take you quickly through the annual reports for the County Economic Development Team and the KMP Trail. We'll start with the Economic Development Report. I'm just going to move through it as quickly as possible to ensure brevity. But on pages 4 and 5 here, we just have an overview of the county, the population. We can include the building permit numbers for the county in here just to give a sign of economic health. We're not really responsible for building permits necessarily or whether or not people are investing, but it's a good way to measure whether or not there's money flowing into the county or not overall. When you move to page 6 and 7, well, 6, we talk about the economic development charter. And so that's how this document is organized under the 4 pillars. We have economic infrastructure, which includes the physical infrastructure such as broadband, but also includes social infrastructure such as business networking and business network events. We have housing, tourism, and food and beverage, which all feed into each other in terms of making a healthy community. And we built that charter with the consultation of the business community in 2024. Moving into tourism, on page 8 and 9, we talk a little bit about our destination development efforts. And on 9, we feature the This is Frontenac video, which I showed to council when I was here about this point last year. And that ended up being an award-winning video with the Economic Developers Council of Association of Canada, sorry, Councils of Ontario. And we achieved that through collaborative efforts to promote that video. We entered into separate campaigns with our 2 regional tourism organizations. So up here, we work with Ontario's Highlands Tourism Organization to promote the region. And in the southern part of the county, we work with Southeastern Ontario or RTO 9. A couple of other pieces, we put together some itineraries to move people through here, but 2 very successful programs and partnerships we have with Ontario's Highlands is on page 11. The Eastern Ontario Rail Trail Loop, which I've spoken about with council a few times now, it continues on its way to be a successful product where we're able to leverage the incredible connected trails that we have in our region to become a cycling product that we can market internationally. Also in that partnership, there's the Ride the Highlands program, which is a motorcycle program and that encourages motorcycle tourism. And we've heard from a number of accommodators in our region that this has been a really benefit. They're getting repeat bookings through this program as they've gotten involved. And that's taken 10 years to turn into something that's really got a foothold in our region. As we move on, we have some photo shoots and economic infrastructure on page 12 and 13. I just wanted to point out the photo shoots because all three of those photos, I think, are in Central Frontenac. So you can be happy about that. Pickleball just nearby here and down at the beach. That was where all our summer students last year jumping off the dock. In terms of economic infrastructure, we really take building the business community seriously. So we talk a bit about the Frontenac County Business Retreat and the Frontenac County Business Awards over a couple pages. The retreat takes place every year. We actually host it in Parham at RKY Camp. It's a beautiful facility there. One of the things that the businesses love about it is we put the PowerPoints away and we talk to each other. We have hands-on experiences and we learn from each other. And the location seems to be ideal because we do get participants from the Frontenac Islands as well as from North Frontenac coming down to participate in that event as well. This year in 2025, we also separated the business awards. The previous 2 years, we had done the business awards at the business retreat, but that made for quite a long day. And in November, nobody likes going home at 8 o'clock. They want to go home at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock or 3 o'clock when the sun sets. So we moved that to a November event later in November, and that was quite successful. And so the businesses that won the awards that year included the Kick and Push Brewery, Rampant Kitchen from South Frontenac, the Rise Farm, Parallel Studios, and Back to Health. And so it's been a very successful program. We developed both of those programs post-COVID as a way to encourage more vibrancy and positivity in our business community. It's really hard to do business. It hasn't gotten better since COVID for small businesses. Between regulations and inflation, it's a real tough time. And so building a network where we can support each other is incredibly important. We also go through that we visit businesses on a regular basis and host networking sessions on Wolf Island. On page 19, we did what's called a familiarization tour last year. That's where we took some of the hotels and the visitor-facing folks in Kingston and brought them onto the island so that they could understand how to speak about it to their guests. What riding the ferry is like, what the experience is like. Really important for that community. Something else that's very close that was new for us really in 2024 and especially in 2025 was healthcare in our community. This has become part of our economic infrastructure effort. Debbie has worked incredibly hard to be connected to all of our clinics across Frontenac County, as well as the various organizations that support our clinics. It's a complicated process to try to figure out how to retain and recruit healthcare professionals these days. And it's certainly something that we're happy to be doing, but it is also very time consuming. And so it's been a big part of our operation lately. Moving towards food and beverage on page 23 and housing on page 25. The food and beverage has largely been led by Open Farms as our program to support local agriculture in the region. We've had sort of dwindling participation from farms in that program over the course of the years. initially, it was so successful that it basically chased the farms away. They were swarmed with visitors that wanted to learn about farming, meet farmers, get their hands dirty. And these little farms, these small farms, just don't have the capacity to welcome that many people all at once. And so we're looking at new ways to support our farmers and agriculture and local food over the course of the next year, and that includes my apologies. That includes support for farmers markets, and so you'll see a lot more support for farmers markets from us in 2026. Housing is also something that's relatively new for us as a pillar, as a priority. We haven't really been able to focus on it with the capacity that we had last year in 2025. We provide some support to Frontenac Municipal Services, but with Emma, who is has her master's in economic development and is a registered planner, we expect to be able to come up with some great ideas to encourage housing outside of just a municipal services approach. This booklet ends with some of our administrative tasks. I include them because they're important. We write grants, we attend meetings, we connect with our other colleagues in economic development from other organizations, and all of those relationships matter when it comes to helping and supporting our businesses. I'm just going to quickly take us through the KMP Trail Annual Report, which is the second document here. We had a really great year on the trail in 2025, and you can see that it starts out on page 4. We have some statistics about who's on our trail. We have a network of trail counters across the KMP Trail, right from Orser Road all the way up to Snow Road Station. If you look at the February numbers for 2025, we had quite a bit of snowmobile activity, and it wasn't really nearly as good of a winter as we saw this year. So I expect that line for 2026 will be higher than any other line. It's pretty incredible that a few weekends of snowmobilers can match all of our ATVers, all of our cyclists, and all of our pedestrians for use on the trail in the year. We also did a survey of our trail users, and we have some information on page 5 and 6 about what people want to see on the trail, what kind of amenities, where they go. In terms of supporting businesses, they highlight Muddy Waters in Verona, Cardinal Cafe here in Sharbot Lake, Mike Dean's also here in Sharbot Lake, and Grains and Goods in Sydenham as places they visit while using the trail. We also asked them to tell us how much they spend when they go out on the trail, and so you can see on page 7 here that there's a bit of a breakdown of what folks spend when they go out for a trail experience. We focused our partnership feature this year on the LNA Ridge Runners. So they are the snowmobile club that we partner with south of Titchburn on the KMP Trail. So the line is the rail tracks. And so they groom the trail and provide support up to that point. And then we work with Snow Road Snowmobile Club north of Titchburn for great. They're both great partners, and so we'll feature them next year. Again, the rail trail loop, which I spoke about before, we go into more depth here. This partnership is looking to see a significant number of cyclists join us on the KMP Trail. The idea of 360 kilometers where you're not on roads is incredibly appealing. We have all kinds of user groups already asking us, when can we get out there? Is it ready for us yet? And some of this work that we have to do here in Frontenac County is strengthen our food and beverage options, strengthen our accommodation options. Here in Sharbot Lake, we're doing okay, but further south, we need options for people who would be out on the loop. Most cyclists travel somewhere between 25 and 75 kilometers a day, with most of the casual cyclists going on the 25 kilometer. They like to stop. They like to see things and do things, which there's lots to do here. I focus a little bit on a couple of projects as well and the events that happen on the trail. You'll note on page 15 that of the 10 events that we highlight there, 9 of them were conducted by our partners in the Frontenac ATV Club, who I think are speaking after me today. They've been a great partner for us in terms of the management of the trail, and I'm happy to provide comments to council at any point about that relationship. If you have any questions about either report or anything else we're up to, we're happy to take those at this point.
Okay, who's first? Bill.
Richard, it's a good report and it's nice seeing you. I just wanted to say that your pictures here are better than live. So I'm teasing you, of course. But we attended the show in Ottawa, and the little K&P maps that we gave those all away. I understand we did. And but the interest in the trail itself was amazing. If people would say, well, oh yeah, but through Sharp Lake on the trail. So we need to emphasize that more as an economic development driver also. So good job. Thank you, Madam.
Okay, anyone else? Well, I want to thank you on behalf of this municipality for working along with us side by side. The more we can have people working on economic development spread out through the county, we all win. And that's exactly what's happening. And we've come a long way, but we've got a long way to go. So thank you both. And Emma, I look forward to seeing you around town, and might even get to some of the meetings that you'll be at. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Jim Knapp, who is the president of the Frontenac ATV Club.
Did you want to do the resolution first?
Oh, sorry, I'll do this resolution. Jim, you get comfortable, and I'll do this resolution while you're getting ready. Moved by Nikki Gowdy, seconded by Philip Smith, that council received the annual report presentation from Richard Allen, Manager of Economic Development, and Emma Stuck, Community Development Officer for the County of Frontenac for information. All those in favor? Carried. All right, now we have Jim. Just push that bar till it's green and you're ready to go.
Okay,
Right in front.
okay. Good evening, Mayor Smith and everyone else in the room. Some of you I know, some of you I don't. Thank you for the opportunity to come and talk to you tonight. My name is Jim Knapp. I'm coming to you as the president of the Frontenac ATV Club. We're a not-for-profit, community-oriented organization that manages safe, responsible ATV riding opportunities throughout central Frontenac and surrounding areas. Sharp Lake sits at the geographic and economic center of central Frontenac. Its businesses, as well as the businesses in all the towns and villages along the Tay-Havelock corridor, rely heavily on seasonal tourism, including trail-based visitors. When our riders cannot travel the Tay-Havelock corridor, Sharp Lake becomes functionally landlocked for ATV tourism, cutting off the flow of visitors who normally pass through, stop, or head north or south on the KMP and spend money. It restricts access, and businesses are feeling this pinch already, and we've heard from quite a few of them. This evening, I am respectfully asking that Council grant the Frontenac ATV Club a memorandum of understanding for a mutually protective seasonal use agreement that will allow our members to use the township-owned section of the Tay-Havelock Trail from the Lanark County boundary to the Addington Highlands boundary in a responsible and organized manner. In addition, I'm asking Council to grant temporary access for our members while staff prepare an MOU so that we may operate safely and transparently under Council's authority until an agreement can be drafted and signed. This is not a request for exclusivity. This is not a request for control. This is a request for a partnership. This agreement would support local tourism and small businesses, reduce unauthorized trail use, ensure safety through rider education and volunteer patrols, provide the township with a clear point of contact, and allow us to continue to do the good work that we do throughout the communities that we ride in. It is safe, it is responsible, and it's fully within council's authority. This is the same model used successfully in many other municipalities, Ontario municipalities, that were faced with the same situation we're dealing with, such as Coe Hill, Renfrew County, and Ottawa Valley and Northumberland, just to name a few. I brought along a copy of the Coe Hill MOU and how this agreement protects the township. A properly structured seasonal use agreement places responsibility on the club for its own members, ensures the township is not liable for club activities, provides clear rules, expectations, and enforcement mechanisms, ensures all riders are insured, ensures the trail is monitored for potential hazards. I'd like to quickly read a short quote from one of our partners. The Frontenac ATV Club has become an important partner for Frontenac County in through financial contributions toward trail construction and maintenance, as well as providing volunteers to patrol and ensure the trail is cleared from fallen trees and debris. We've also seen a significant economic benefit to this partnership, as there have been monthly events, sometimes two, that bring riders to Frontenac County from across the province. We look forward to growing our relationship with the club in coming years. I want to thank council and for your time, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Any questions or comments for Jim? Lynn?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I know with your club, you have wardens, and I've heard lots of talk about what these wardens do, and it's the impression that some people feel they are policing the trail. So I'm questioning, is that their purpose? And if one of your wardens was policing, what would your response be to that? And more specifically, how would you define what your warden's purpose is on the trails?
Thank you for the question to the councillor through the mayor. I was anticipating that. Our trail wardens have a motto: your safety, your trails, your community. A trail warden is a trained volunteer who patrols the trail system to assist riders, promote safety, protect landowner agreements, and report hazards without exercising any enforcement authority. Each warden is trained in rescue first aid, CPR, and AED certification. In fact, our club owns 2 high-end AEDs, and if there's a warden out there, they're probably carrying one with them, and they know how to use it. As far as policing goes, I understand where your question's coming from. Even sometimes just the word warden is scary. But in the true sense of the word, it just means somebody who looks after something. So I'll go back to an incident. Back in late April, before the trail was even open, a complaint was forwarded from Councillor Gowdy's office to Richard Allen, who then contacted me, alleging that someone on the trail was chasing people, claiming to be a warden and threatening to call the police. I clarified immediately to both Richard and Councillor Gowdy that this individual was not one of our wardens. Our team wasn't even out on the trail for the season yet. The person involved was actually a volunteer who lives on the trail and does maintenance work for the county. The gentleman claiming to be a warden had already called me and told me it was him. Mr. Allen and Councillor Gowdy knew exactly who I was talking about when I mentioned it to them. So that's that.
So we have had folks who have not been stopped, but have talked to wardens on the trail and have been asked about different safety things. And it's a good thing to have a double check sometime if you've forgotten something. But I've never heard of anyone having a hard time or being threatened by a warden.
If I may, in the 3 years that I've been doing this, the only negative comment that I've ever had about a trail warden was this one that I just spoke of.
Okay,
Our wardens, I can give you an example if I may.
sure.
Two sisters were here from somewhere in New York State. And I have the letters. They were renting a cottage in Charlotte Lake. They were in their 70s. They brought cycles with them. They went down the trail. They were going as far as they could, and then they decided to turn around and come back. They couldn't make it all the way. Around the curve to go up to Fish Creek, that area. They were laying on the ground trying to get themselves together when a couple of wardens went by. They stopped. They gave them cold water. They gave them some snacks. They stayed with them until they were able to ride again, and they escorted them back to their cottage. The next day, my partner and I were out on the trail. We were going from Charlotte Lake to Mountain Grove. And we came across an ATV that was broken down. There were two women in it, mid-50s, and they were scared. It was getting dark. And we stopped. As soon as we stopped and they saw that we were trail wardens, they felt good. My partner stayed with them while I went to Mountain Grove and met someone with a flatbed and brought them out to the trail. And picked up this machine for these two women. So we do a lot of good things on the trail.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Nikki?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Jim.
Yep.
My question is, actually, it could be twofold, so I'll bear with me. You sell a pass for $195. You have a portion of that needs to go into maintenance. That's part of your breakdown
Yeah.
on,
Trail leveling revenues, yes.
can you, how much trail level, or how much of that maintenance have you contributed to the trail in Central Frontenac? So I know your club has.
You mean to the Tehavlock?
Yes, to the Tehavlock. You have partnered on a few projects on the Tehavlock Trail.
No, we haven't partnered on any projects. We haven't been allowed to.
A few years ago, you partnered on the Brewer Road Bridge project, I thought.
If we did, I don't remember, did we?
Yeah, I think you put the topping on the bridge, didn't you? The
Well, in
wood,
that case,
It was
with
would
the
have
trail
contributed
committee.
$5,000 to that.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm, like, you have
Okay.
contributed, I'm saying you
Yes.
have contributed, what, like.
Yes, to Central Frontenac over the last 3 years, we've contributed $60,000
Thank you, that's what.
Yes.
in cash.
Yes, that's what I wanted you.
Plus, we've contributed hundreds and hundreds of hours of removing trees, clearing massive rocks, everything that we could, that we were allowed to do. We have that all documented. Yeah.
And do you have a follow-up, Nikki?
No. I'm saying, well, yeah,
Okay.
questions if you want.
Good. All right. Okay. If there's nothing else, I have a motion. And the motion is moved by Dan Meeks, seconded by Susan Irwin, that council received the presentation from Jim Knapp, president of the Frontenac ATV Club, regarding a seasonal use agreement for township-owned trail. All those in favor? Carried. And council will be going into closed session later to talk about legal stuff. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim. All right, public meeting, there isn't any. Consent agenda, moved by Lynn Clegg, seconded by Cindy Kelsey, that council accept items A through C for information as they're considered routine. Any discussion? All those in favor? Carried. All right, there's no deferred items. So staff reports. Development Services Activity Report. Mr. Andy, moved by Bill McDonald and seconded by Bill Everett, that council received the construction details building activity report for March 2026 for information. Discussions. Andy, do you have anything to tell us first?
No, pretty routine report. Numbers are down a bit from 2024, but that was, I'd say that was due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
But it looks like they're up from 2025, right?
They're pretty close, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No questions or comments? All those in favor? Carried. And capital projects, moved by Philip Smith, seconded by Nikki Gowdy. That council received the capital projects report as presented by the chief building official for information. Discussion. All those in favor? Carried. And we have Olden Hall ramp, moved by Susan Irwin, seconded by Dan Meeks. Whereas a request for tender, RFT FA 2026-06, was released on April the 3rd, 2026, and 3 bids were received on April 23rd, 2026 for the ramp replacement at Olden Hall. And whereas the chief building official has reviewed and evaluated the bids and is recommending the work be awarded to the lowest bidder, JC Construction. Now therefore be it resolved that council approve the recommendation of the chief building official and award the project to JC Construction for $55,000 plus HST, and that the chief building official be authorized to issue a purchase order for the work, and further that the mayor and CEO clerk be authorized to execute this contract. Discussions. Seeing, oh, Dan?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Andy, I wasn't able to get on the plans very well. If we have any questions, I guess we can follow up with you on that. Once they start, is there a timeline set out for that, Andy, or why do we not put a timeline in with the quality of work to be done there?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Meeks, a timeline, if there was one included, it would have been to be completed in 2026. Not sure when the start date is going to be, so it's difficult to gauge, but the contractor thought he could get the work done within a month, so.
Have you used this contractor before, Andy, or?
No, I haven't, but he did provide references and looks like he's capable of doing the work.
Great.
Good. Okay, all those in favor? Carried. All right. Oso Hall Kitchen, moved by Cindy Kelsey, seconded by Philip Smith. Whereas a request for tender, RFT FA 2026-05, was released on April 3rd, 2026, and 5 bids were received on April 23rd, 26 for the kitchen renovations at Oso Hall. And whereas the chief building official has reviewed and evaluated the bids and is recommending the work be awarded to the lowest bidder, JC Construction. Now therefore be it resolved that council approve the recommendation of the chief building official and award the project to JC Construction for $16,800 plus HST, and that the chief building official be authorized to issue a purchase order for the work, and further that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute the contract. Discussions. Bill?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Andy, it's basically the same question I had that Councillor Meeks had. Being as that these halls are the busiest in the summertime, did they give you an indication as to when they might complete this work, or is it going to inhibit any of the activities that are going on in the halls now? Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor McDonald. I know they are anxious to get started as soon as possible. The work is scheduled to be done Monday to Friday and cleaned up Friday afternoon so that the hall can be rented for the weekend with minimal disruption.
Okay, thank you.
Great. All those in favor? Carried. That is it for Andy. We're now at Public Works. So that's it for Andy. Thanks, Andy. And now we're at Public Works activity. And the first is the report, moved by Lane Clegg, seconded by Dan Meeks, that council receive the Public Works Activity Report as prepared by the Public Works Technical Assistant for information. Any questions or comments? Go ahead, Nikki.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a few questions. Now that hopefully we do need rain, but it's going to be nicer weather, the grading will continue, like your people have been very happy with the grading that you did and how quickly you got the roads back up to standard. So you're going to continue like a regular grading schedule to stay on top of that?
Through you, Madam Mayor, yeah, we will be on regular schedule. Weather holds, it's usually a 2-week rotation, so.
Perfect. My next question is about geese at the beach. There are people already noticing that the geese are back in full force, and do you have a plan on how we can deal with the geese?
To you, Madam Mayor, I don't have a plan. I looked into some things. Some of the things I looked into were meant for like a subdivision, little ponds in the subdivision. Because this is a big lake, most people I talked to said it won't work here. So I'm actually at a loss for what we need to do here for geese. So.
Do we have any students hired yet? Because one of the things South Frontenac did was they brought their students in very early in the morning, and they were chasing geese for the first couple of hours to try and dissuade them. I don't think it worked, but might be worth a try here. Sorry, go ahead, Nikki.
Do you have any costs yet about what the cost of the washout on Long Lake Road was?
To you, Madam Mayor. Yes, I wanted to say too that I'm glad like all our contractors worked really well with us. Our culvert supplier, everything come together really well. They had a culvert actually in stock that the township didn't take from last year, so it actually went very quick. Like I said, the contractors, our engineer all work good. So I think at the end of the day, I talked to Michael, it'll be 144,000. So
Perfect.
It's not bad.
No.
We were thinking a couple 100,000.
Very, very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Street sweeping. When is that going to start? And then I only have one more after that.
to you, Madam Mayor, street sweeping, the supervisor's been in contact with them. They're supposed to start the last week of May, and that's actually a week earlier than last year. So.
And I was out and about traveling on the weekend, and noticed quite a few guardrails on back roads and stuff. Do you have? I know we only have a limited budget for guardrails, but will they be being done eminently if they're being done?
So you, Madam Mayor, the Road 38 ones will probably still get Houston or someone to do those, but the back roads, I think we ordered a skid of guardrails last year, and we're going to try to do some ourselves on the back roads, like Fourth Lake Road and that. So.
Okay. Anyone else? Bill.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Steve. I think you've already let the gravel contracts for the year, have you not? Yeah. And so my follow-up question would be then, after that application, you do have a contract for dust suppressant, because there are people already asking me, where's the dust suppressant? And I know you can't put it on too early, because otherwise the effectiveness will be gone before the summer's over. So thank you, Matt.
To you, Madam Mayor, yeah, we'll be scheduling calcium here probably late this week or first of next week. So, yep. Yeah, there's lots of dust. So
I tell you, on my road, I will trade potholes for dust any day. Give me the dust. This was a terrible year for potholes, and I know it was the weather, but it was a tough one. So we can eat a little dust for a while. It's better for the car. Okay, if there's no other questions, go ahead.
to you, Madam Mayor, May 29th, CP Rail wants to close the road to do the tracks on May 29th. It's a PA day for school, so there's no school buses.
It's a Friday?
Yeah. They think they're going to get it done in one day. I have a call into them because I want to make sure, because when they were going to do it earlier, they didn't have time to fix the dip, but I'm trying to find out if they're going to do that at the same time. So.
Yes. Okay, so May 29th, we'll be talking about that again and getting it out to the public if that's going to happen that date, right? Okay. All right. All those in favor of the motion? Carried. All right. Line painting. Moved by Bill Everett, seconded by Philip Smith. Whereas the township participated in a joint tender with the townships of South Frontenac and North Frontenac for line painting services administered by South Frontenac, with the tender issued on January 28th, 2026, and closing on March 4th, 2026. And whereas 4 bids were received, the Public Works Manager has reviewed the submissions in accordance with the tender requirements and recommends Provincial Markings, Inc. as the lowest compliant bidder. And whereas the tender amount exceeds the approved budget and the Public Works Manager has identified adjustments to the scope of work in order to better align the project with the available funding. Now therefore it be it resolved that Council award the line painting contract to Provincial Markings, Inc. in the amount of $113,181.93 excluding HST, and that Council authorize the Public Works Manager to proceed with the adjusted scope of work, and that the Public Works Manager be authorized to issue a purchase order for the work, and further that the Mayor and CAO Clerk be authorized to execute the contract documents on behalf of the Township. Steve.
Through you, Madam Mayor. This is, I know this has come up before and some of the line painting doesn't get done until September, October sometimes. And it's the company that we were with before and they would just fit us in whenever they could. They couldn't meet the deadlines of this tender, so they didn't even bid on it. And if we don't take this, I think we can try to negotiate something with them, but they're going to be more money too. The other company we had last year, and we're just on the list to be done whenever they get a chance. So this company has a deadline that has to be done by, so it'll be done earlier in the summer. So,
Well, that's good. And I would guess that the cost of gas and diesel is affecting the prices as well. Okay, any other questions on this? All those in favor? Carried. Okay, moved by Bill McDonald, seconded by Nikki Gowdy, that Council received the bag tag program implementation update as prepared by the Public Works Technical Assistant for information, and that Council approve the bag tag fee of $1 per bag as recommended by the Public Works Manager. Now therefore be it resolved that Council authorize staff to distribute educational materials prior to the program rollout in August 2026. Discussion? All those in, oh, Dan, go ahead.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. The only thing I was going to say, maybe we could change the black bag to a clear bag in the brochure, or the checklist part of it.
To you, Madam Mayor, I could totally do that. Absolutely.
Okay, Susan.
Thank you, Dan. I was going to point that out too. So, through Madam Mayor, in looking at it, I was looking for the cost, and I know we just approved $1, but there's no price amount on. Is there? Where is it? I know I did it upside down.
It isn't on there. I'll put it on there.
Because the one thing people will ask is, how much do the tags cost?
Yes.
So thank you.
Just somehow.
I think it's on the one online.
Anyway, make sure it's on that one. Put it all over the place. That's less than what they were paying for the bag and the tag, right? So it's a savings, kind of. Okay, all those in favor? Carried. And moved by Susan Irwin, seconded by Cindy Kelsey, that Council receive the draft waste disposable bylaw for review, and for that Council provide feedback to the Public Works Technical Assistant by May 22nd, 2026. Discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Moving right along. Planning activity report. That's it, I think, for you guys, is it?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, moved by Dan Meek, seconded by Lynn Clegus, that Council receive the planning activity report dated May 12th, 2026, as prepared by the Planning Coordinator for information. Any discussion? Questions? All those in favor? Carried. Planning on authorized development, education enforcement, and penalties. Moved by Philip Smith, seconded by Bill Everett, that council receive the report entitled Update Education Enforcement and Penalty Options for Development Without Planning Approvals for Information, and that council approve the proposed updates to the planning fee schedule as outlined in this report, and further that council approve the amendments to the planning fees and charges bylaw to be considered later in the meeting, and that council endorse the implementation of the revised zoning bylaw, education and enforcement policy, and consider passage of the associate bylaw later in the meeting. Any discussions? Bill?
I don't know who the question has to go to, but what was the average increase right across the board? I looked at the numbers and I couldn't, in my wee head, I couldn't figure out if it was just a percentage increase or was there an increase where it required more activity on behalf of the staff to follow up. If that was that the rationale for the new numbers? Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Abby.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor McDonald. So it wasn't necessarily a mathematical equation. I really tried to review each item on the planning fees schedule, understand the amount of hours and staff efforts it takes to do that particular task, and then any other fees that or costs that the township might incur. For example, it wasn't contemplated in our original fee schedule to have, for example, Andy come out to a site visit with Jenny and I to review a matter. So items like that for Andy's time and travel expenses weren't being included. So we now have a mechanism to be able to charge for that. So it wasn't a mathematical equation, but a fair adjustment of fees.
Okay. All right. If there's no other questions, comments, all those in favor? Carried. All right. Moved by Nikki Gowdy, seconded by Bill McDonald, that council receive the report titled Dedicating Bernie Point Road as a Public Highway for Information, and further that council consider passing bylaw number 2026-25, being a bylaw to establish lands described as Part 1-10 on Plan 13R 23246 as a public highway known as the Bernie Point Road. Discussion. This has been a long time in the making. Bill and then Philip.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to whoever, I assume this was just to include the additional part of the Bourneport Road that the residents in there wanted us to actually take over. Am I correct? Because I was part of the
Way back.
site planning. Is this what we're referring to?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Philip.
So similar question was, is this portion of the road already maintained, or this is a new assumption that we're now going to take over?
It's been maintained for years, but we've never owned it. And the people that own the adjacent land said, we will give it to you if you can make it legal. So we've been doing that. And there's many pieces.
We have been maintaining it.
Yes.
Okay. So if it's been unmaintained, my concern was going to be, we put other developers through stringent hoops to build the 401.
Yeah.
And if we're just going to assume a road that we're not already maintaining.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, this is one we've been looking after for years.
Thank you.
Okay, all those in favor? Carried. All right, moved by Lynn Clegg, is seconded by Susan Irwin, that council approve in principle the recommendation of the planning coordinator to close part of the road allowance between Concession 7, Lot 19, Geographic Township of Kennebec, being part of PIN number 361-680054, Blue Heron Ridge, and that council authorize staff to proceed to a public meeting to receive resident input on the proposed closure. Any discussion? All those in favor? Carried. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abby. All right. Moved by Bill McDonald, seconded by Nikki Gowdy, that council approve the cancellation of the June 9th, 2026 regular meeting of council, and that council proceed with one regular meeting in June to be held on June 23rd, 2026. Discussion. We all know that that's because staff are away for the first part of June.
Yes, and with both Abby and Jody are gone, so that lessens the professionalism of those ladies to do some of the stuff for the council.
Okay, all those in favor? Carried. All right. Next, we have motion moved by Cindy Kelsey, seconded by Dan Meeks, that council receive the report regarding the expression of interest from Dominic Peridu, and that council declare the subject lands described as concession 3, part of lot 24, roll number 1039-0400, 200, 6,000 as surplus to the needs of the township. And further, that council directs staff to proceed with the disposition process in accordance with bylaw 2020-29, including determination of appraisal requirements and method of sale. Any discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Committee, other reports. Central Frontenac Housing, moved by Philip Smith, seconded by Bill Everett, that council receive the recommendation from the Central Frontenac Housing Committee regarding the report prepared by Lindsay Blair of 2B Developments entitled Housing Servicing and Ownership Workshop Report dated March 4th, 2026 for information, and that council endorse the recommendations contained within the report, including the inclusion of a library and community space within the proposed housing and development plan for the Charlotte Lake School site and review of related funding opportunities. 2, exploring the creation of a municipal service corporation to own and operate the housing project. And 3, proceeding with preliminary geotechnical and hydrogeological investigations to better understand servicing feasibilities and development potential for the Garrett Street property. And further, that council authorize completion and submission of the updated questionnaire referenced in Appendix A of the report. Discussion. Nikki.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I had asked Philip before the meeting, but maybe I'll ask again. Creating a municipal service corporation, that's, I know, for the township's protection and everything, but could the county municipal corporation be used rather than having to develop a second corporation?
It could if they wanted to take on housing as well as water and wastewater. Philip.
But I think the concept is more around the ownership structure of the housing complex itself, not necessarily who's operating it, but then it removes it from the municipal's finances and kind of stands alone and doesn't affect the municipal finances as much.
Sure.
So I think
Yes.
that was what the recommendation was, investigate that and how that works, not the operator, but.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions on this?
No, but I'll mention that when I spoke with Councillor Smith there this afternoon, we couldn't do with the minutes yet because they're draft. So the committee, they have to go back to the housing committee to formally adopt those minutes before council. Then we can put that into as well. That's why the motion's not struck. But the other thing I mentioned, and I think it's in that one change is that really that council accept the recommendations, not necessarily endorse them until with all these things, that's the word that I have in mind. It's that council accept the recommendations contained within the report instead of endorsing, because we don't know. So this way I don't know how yours was.
It says endorse here, but.
Yeah, I have it changed to.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it is support.
Accept.
Yes. So is everyone prepared to change that to accept? And again, it's all going to depend in the end of this, how many units that site can take.
Yeah.
And whether you want to put housing units compared to open space or not. Philip.
I think, coming from the housing committee, it was more about let's keep the ball rolling. There's an expressed interest of the library being there. So not dissimilar to how the housing committee asked council to make their wishes known about, we are going to put housing there. It's kind of along the same lines of, okay, if we're doing that, will council also agree that housing, a library space would also be important on that site? So that's what the housing committee is trying to get across coming to council.
Well, and I think we said that when we met as a group, that was something we wanted to do as well.
But it's not been formally
No.
endorsed at council, so.
Okay, so it is now, if you say yes to this motion. All those in favor? Carried. All right. Moved by Philip Smith, seconded by Bill McDonald, that council receive the Economic Development Advisory Committee 2026 Trade Show Report as presented by Councillor Clegus for information. Any discussion? Good report. All those in favor? Carried. All right, communications correspondence for action. There isn't any. Bylaws. Moved by Dan Meek, seconded by Cindy Kelsey, that bylaw 2026-22, being a bylaw to amend bylaw 2023-41 and appoint Derek Latimer as Deputy Fire Chief, be read first, second, and third time, and finally passed this 12th day of May 2026. All those in favor? Carried. Moved by Bill McDonald, seconded by Susan Irwin, that bylaw number 2026-23, being a bylaw to amend Schedule A of bylaw 2023-49 to prescribe a tariff of fees for the processing of applications made in respect to planning matters, be read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed this 12th day of May 2026. Any discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Moved by Philip Smith, seconded by Bill Everett, that bylaw number 2026-24, being a bylaw to adopt a zoning bylaw, education, and enforcement policy, be read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed this 12th day of May 2026. Any discussion? All those in favor? Carry. Moved by Nikki Gowdy, seconded by Cindy Kelsey, that bylaw number 2026-25, being a bylaw to dedicate Bernie Point Road as a public highway, be read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed this 12th day of March 2026. All those in
May,
favor?
Not March.
Sorry, May 2026. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, any notice of motion?
No, there is not, Madam Mayor.
Any giving of notice of motion?
No, there is not.
So new or other business. Proclamation, moved by Susan Irwin, seconded by Philip Smith. Whereas community living promotes the inclusion and participation of people with intellectual and development disabilities in all aspects of community life, including living in our neighborhoods, working in local businesses, volunteering, learning, and participating in community events. And whereas the Township of Central Frontenac values diversity, inclusion, respect, fairness, and belonging within our communities. And whereas the Community Living Month recognizes the important contributions of people with disabilities as well as the work of Community Living North Frontenac employees, volunteers, caregivers, and families who support inclusion every day. Now therefore be it resolved that Council of the Township of Central Frontenac hereby proclaims the month of May 2026 as Community Living Month in the Township of Central Frontenac and encourages all residents to celebrate and support a welcoming, caring, and connected community where everyone is valued and encouraged to participate fully. Discussion, all those in favor? Carry. All right, that is it to go into closed session. So I have a motion moved by Dan Meek, seconded by Bill Everett, that council resolve into closed session pursuant to section 239(2) of the Municipal Act to discuss labor relations, section 239(2)D implementation plan, and adopt the closed session minutes from March 24, 2026 and April 2028, and to discuss a legal issue, whatever that section might be. Litigation. All those in favor? Carried.